Ooh, you're gonna get me in trouble on this one. Hello you guys, and welcome back to my channel. So if you cannot tell by the outrageous bun, the sweatshirt, all this good stuff, today's video is gonna be really informal. I just got back from a Vegas red-eye this morning. My dog kind of got sick while I was in Vegas, and my husband took him to the vet and he got a good clearance. He just had some kind of stomach bug. When I came home from the red-eye, I had a butt full of diarrhea to clean up. So it wasn't a lot of fun, and I think I'm just really sleep deprived, but I know I need to get a video out to you guys. This is gonna be just like really chill, really one-on-one, just giving y'all kind of like an update on my channel and my life and everything going on, and then answering some questions. So go ahead and grab your glass of wine, grab your coffee. I guess to start out with, a little life update and channel update of everything going on. I have so many ideas for you guys. I have a whole notepad full of exciting ideas that I'm so excited to shoot. The only problem is it's summer, and summer means high time flying, and I'm not really super high time, pretty moderately high time, but just with how like chaotic summer flying has been and how much I'm flying. If you've been following my channel, you know no trip ever goes correct for me. Something always goes wrong on all of my trips. Even this Vegas one, the plane didn't show up. We ended up timing out, so we had to deadhead out to Vegas. I mean, y'all know, with me, it's always a mess. It is a mess. So yeah, I've just been flying a ton, which makes it really hard to get all the content out there for you guys. But trust me, I am so excited. You're gonna have some really cool videos coming your way. So if you're not already subscribed to me, go ahead and subscribe down to my channel and turn the bell on, because if you don't turn the bell on, you're not gonna be notified when I post videos. So go ahead and click that bell as well so you can see every single time I post a video. So yeah, that's kind of been my life right now. It's just, our dog's been sick, I'm working a lot, my husband's obviously working a lot, so things have been crazy. It's been a juggle. But let's get into your questions now. So on Instagram, I also asked on YouTube itself and tried to link some of you to Instagram. So I'm gonna have to go look and see if that actually worked, or if y'all actually wrote me questions on YouTube. But I mean, y'all asked me like quite a bit of stuff, which is pretty cool. First question, would you ever move to another country? If so, where? PS, London. I could definitely see myself doing it like temporarily, like maybe for like a couple years or so, and then like coming back, or having multiple homes. I could definitely see that. When my husband and I got married, for those of you who don't know, he is from Germany. When we got married, we did kind of discuss like where we were going to live, and to me, living in Germany was an option. For him, he ultimately wanted to come to the States. I think we both kind of decided that because Germany has such high taxes, like such high taxes. So I think that was one of like the biggest things that kind of drew us into living in the States. But I don't know, I could see myself living somewhere. I don't know where, but definitely here and there. I'm very adventurous in that sense. With your airline, how do you rate the dental health benefits? Can you add members? So yes, you can add members, because my husband's actually on my healthcare. I do know that you can add kids and things like that. So we have 3 tiers as far as like our standard healthcare goes. We have like a small, a moderate, and a high tier. Small tier obviously has a higher deductible, but they take smaller amounts out of your paycheck. The moderate tier is kind of like half and half. The deductible is a little bit less than the smaller tier, but you're paying a little bit more. And then obviously the high tier is the opposite of that. So you're paying a lot out of your paycheck, but a very small deductible. And then we have 2 kinds of dental. So we do have like a smaller dental and a higher dental, which me and my husband are on the higher dental plan. I don't think it's really that much more expensive than the normal. I think it's maybe a couple dollars. But because I have fake teeth because of a car accident I was in, which originally, I now have crowns, but originally I was having like fillers or whatever those are called. So they had to be replaced at least like once to twice a year, because they would just knock out, which I actually had to take a personal day last year because my teeth broke and I couldn't fly like that. As far as what I would rate it, I would say it's pretty good. I like it. I mean, my mainline definitely had better healthcare than my regional airline did. I didn't get on that healthcare. I really just stayed on my parents because I was gonna have better healthcare through them, and I was still young enough to do that. I think it's pretty good. Do I think it's the most outstanding healthcare out there? no, I think that we actually used to have a better healthcare plan, but when we negotiated for our new contract, we changed healthcare. So I do think we used to have a better healthcare plan. We're both on the moderate tier and it does a good job. Okay, so next question. Any advice for something considering becoming a flight attendant? I think that was supposed to say someone. My best advice for someone becoming a flight attendant is have a really, really positive mindset going into it, because I think it's just in life. Anything is going to be whatever you make it. So if you get excited about it, it's going to be exciting. If you make every time something goes terribly wrong, like such an issue, you're going to hate your job. You just are. Like I've said, no trips go like how they're supposed to for me. It's just something about my aura says like, let's really throw in this extra kicker in there. So definitely have like a really, really positive mindset. You have to be flexible. You have to be flexible. Like I know like a lot of flight attendants speak on like how much flexibility is in the job, which is so true. We do have a lot of flexibility and a lot of wiggle room, especially when you get some seniority in there. I mean, when you're first starting out, you're gonna pay your dues. But once you get some seniority in there, you really do have a flexible schedule. But starting out, you need to be flexible. Like get ready, start stretching, doing your splits and stuff, because you probably need it. Okay, once you become a line holder, what are the min hours and the max hours one can work? So this is gonna vary from company to company. So I know there are some companies that you can fly 0 hours if you choose to, whereas other companies like mine, we do have a minimum. So we have something called a hard 40, which means you have to fly 40 hours within the month. Now, for those of you who are like, oh my God, 40 hours, I work that in a week. It is not the same thing. So if you haven't seen my flight attendant pay video, I will try and link that down below. How flight attendants get their hours is not how normal people get their hours. So a 40-hour work week for you is not what it's gonna look like as a 40-hour month for us. You're definitely working a lot more hours than just in that. Plus we get per diem and things like that because layovers and everything. So definitely check that video out if you don't understand the pay scale for flight attendants. It was one of my first videos, so I don't remember like how great it is, but it's very informative. So really check that out. But for us, we do have a minimum of 40. So if you do take a VLOA, which is basically like your vacation leave of absence, there's a certain number at each base each month that they will offer depending on operational need. And then you can put in a bid for it to see if you can hold it at your seniority. And then if you can, then you don't have to fly any hours that month. You are off. You cannot pick up. You are off for that month. But because we have a minimum number of hours, if you took a VLOA, I believe you do need to take those 40 hours and put them into another month. So for example, if I took a VLOA this month, next month, or in a few months down the line, I would need to make up those 40 hours or like spread it amongst that, if that makes sense. So basically you need to work 40 times 12 in a year. Max hours one can work. There's not really a max amount. It kind of gets a little complicated, and I really don't want to like throw too much information at you because it is going to vary company to company, but you still have to be within legalities. And sometimes when you bid for smaller lines, you are only allowed to pick up X number of trips. And I'm not getting into all the technical stuff on it because it's just going to vary company to company. It just kind of depends on how many trips can you pick up that can keep you legal. Okay, there are some crazies out there, and I don't mean crazies and then like, oh my God, they're crazy. No, they're crazy because I don't know how they do it. Who fly 140, 160 hours. They put their whole schedule together basically that as soon as if one trip goes wrong, they're basically going to be illegal for the next trip, and then they're pay protected. Some people know how to work this system, but I don't have the time or the patience for doing all of that, because if your trips fly and you book them that close back to back, you're going to be working that close back to back. And I would also recommend for anybody starting out, burnout is real. Burnout is very, very real. So I know like when you're first starting out and you first get out of training, you're so excited to fly, but you really, really need to pace yourself, because you're not going to understand how taxing it is on the body and how much jet lag can really, really hit you, and how sometimes dealing with passengers, unfortunately, like I love my passengers, don't get me wrong, but there are passengers that can really take a toll on you, especially like your mental health, and they can annoy you, exhaust you, all of those things. And I know like, oh my God, I love all my passengers, but I do love my passengers, but there are still some that I'm just like, I could have done without you on my plane. Sorry. So definitely pace yourself coming out of training, but I would say the average a flight attendant would work is probably like 75 to 85. That would be like mid-range what most flight attendants work. Is there anything about your career that you regret? Good question. Anything about my career that I regret? I really want to try and think of something just to give you something to be like, oh God, I really would have changed this. But there's nothing I really would have changed. I think everything kind of led to me at the perfect time. One time when I was regionally, I let a woman bring her bag in that I knew wasn't going to fit on the thing, but she argued with me, so I let her be smart and try and go put it in the overhead bin. And then when she put it in there, she broke the bin and we had to take a delay. That's probably my only regret, because I should have just told her, like, lady, if you want to argue with me, you're not getting on the plane. But I really, I'm sorry, that kind of feels like a cop-out. I really feel like I don't have anything I regret. What was your experience when you were at your regional airline? Great question. I think that being at a regional airline gives everybody a bit of perspective, because I don't care who you are. You can argue with me all day, but there is no harder worker than a regional airline worker. I firmly believe somebody who works for a regional airline works much harder than I do at a mainline. And if you disagree with me, then great, we can hash it out. But I truly believe, like, your regional flight attendants, like, they work because they do like 4 or 5, sometimes 6 flights in a day. They have to like do like so much more work. Sometimes they're the only flight attendant, or you're one of 2. I mean, you're gonna work regionally, but I think it puts a lot of things in perspective, because when I upgraded to a mainline, there was a lot of things that I think some people who never worked regionally get like this entitlement about, and it's all perspective, because they have a different perspective than me. And I think working regionally really gave me perspective, and it really showed me like, hey, I'm actually really grateful for something that somebody else might not be grateful for. It sucks, but I took a huge pay cut when I left bartending on Bourbon Street to go work for a regional airline. But I had a great savings, and I blew through it when I made that transition. Do I regret making the transition? Absolutely not. But you really need to know how to budget. You really need to know how to manage your money and do all that kind of stuff. That's why, like, when my parents offered to keep me still on their health insurance, I was like, I was so grateful for that, because like any bit that they were helping me really paid off, because it's tough to survive on that regional salary, especially when you don't have any seniority. And then picking up trips sometimes regionally, depending on your airline, could be tougher than it is for me to pick up on mainline. So I do think that you should go regional before you go mainline. But if you are going to go that route, be ready. It's tough. It's going to show you who you are in life, like, truly. Next question. Is flight attendant what you're expecting on doing for the rest of your career? Ooh! The tea. So I actually just recently talked to somebody about this. We were talking about it in Vegas. I really thought, like, if you would have asked me maybe 6 months ago, like, I was going to be a career flight attendant, 100%. There's no doubt in my mind that was what I was going to do. And I don't want to say I'm not going to, because I still really could be. Like, I love this job. I can't think of a better job where you can just hang out with people, go to amazing places, and get paid to do it. Like, that's surreal to me. I think there's a lot of stuff changing in the airline industry. The way that a lot of FAA rules are going, the way that a lot of companies are choosing to build trips and stuff like that, it can be challenging. I think it's getting more and more challenging, and I think a lot of us are seeing a direction that the airline industry could possibly take. And just being as honest with y'all as possible is it scares me a little bit. It really does. Like, I have noticed, especially like a lot of airlines are getting this thing called the optimizer, which it basically tries to figure out the best routes to work you the most for the company. And I'm trying to explain this as like politically correct as possible. Okay, basically it scheduled our trip so we're doing really long duty days and really short layovers. Like, long layovers are almost not existing anymore, which is crazy, and it sucks, because I think the optimizer really takes the human aspect out of flying, which is why when you're flying all these different trips, and especially as a reserve, you don't know what you're going to be flying. So you could be flying a normal 2-day, then you could go to an all-nighter where you're not sleeping, or a rocket where you're really not sleeping. You have no rest on those and you're flying all night long. Or you could switch over and do an international and then come back and have to do a standby. Like, there's so many crazy things with like timing of like when you're working, which really messes with your body. And so when you're not getting proper rest, it's taxing, it's exhausting. So I think, yeah, I don't know. I don't like that direction, and I think if it continues down that direction, I don't know. I really don't know. But also, more so than that, even with that going on, still love this job, still love it. But I have some really big goals, especially that I've kind of developed, that I've always had, but I was just like, oh no, you can't do that. You can't do that. I used to quiet myself. I used to be like, man, you can't really do that. But I have some really big goals. Like ideally, I'm going to, like, I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm going to have my own TV show. I wanna just do all that. I really wanna get into film and acting and that kind of stuff. I would love to have my own travel channel someday. I think that would be really, really awesome. Or I don't know, I just kind of really wanna dive into that, especially like if my YouTube channel like takes off. The world is my oyster. And I've told many of y'all, when you have dreams, you have to chase them. Like give them everything and be ready to fail, right? Same with this. Be ready to fail over and over and over and over again. Yeah, I'm ready to fail, and I'm also ready to succeed in the same sense. So I definitely could be a career flight attendant. I don't want to say like, oh no, but if the opportunity presents itself to be on TV or to have my own TV show or to do something like that, I'm gonna take it. So yeah. Have you considered transferring bases? If so, where? Yes, I am actually putting in my transfer this month for October. And how about y'all comment down below? How about y'all guess? Everybody comment down below and try and guess where I am transferring to. So yeah, I'm hoping to get my transfer in October though. Ooh, most challenging thing you had to learn in training. I guess to me, most challenging thing was hazardous material stuff. And it wasn't that it was like so hard, it's just that it's a lot of information. Like, not to sound braggy, but training wasn't hard for me. I just think that I'm really studious. My common sense isn't the brightest, but I'm very, very studious, if that makes sense. I'm one of those people. So I wish I could be more relatable and say it was, but it really wasn't. So that would probably be the hardest of the easy, if that makes sense. Can I get the job if I just have a work permit and not the actual green card yet? I do not want to give you incorrect information. I don't know. I'm the wrong person to ask. I would definitely, like, if you're applying to an airline, you'll have like an email or a phone number, something to reach out to their talent service team, and I would get in contact with somebody like that and ask, because I really don't want to give you incorrect information. Your uniform is short sleeves, I guess, but why you wear those sweaters all the time? Love your channel, from India. My uniform is not short sleeves because of my tattoos, which are currently here and they're about to be here. I have to wear long sleeves uniform. I do not have a short sleeve uniform, but it is part of our uniform requirements that we're supposed to. Probably not gonna see everybody doing it, but you're supposed to wear an outer garment through the airport itself. So that's why a lot of times the people with the short sleeve dresses, you will see them with an outer garment, or the men, you'll see them with a suit jacket or the vest or things like that. So we are supposed to be wearing an outer garment when we're going through the airport, and then in the airplane we can take it off. Favorite place on earth? I know this is gonna be a very unpopular opinion, and that's fine, but Naples, Italy has been my favorite place on earth so far. I think like a lot of people like see like kind of the dirtier side of Naples or Napoli, but when you get away from where all the boat docks and stuff are, I fell in love with that city. I love Italy in general. Rome was probably like one of my least favorite cities in Italy, but I love Italy. That's one of the places I could move to. I could live in Italy. I absolutely love it. I love the food. I love the atmosphere. There's just something in the air, and everybody there is attractive, like effortlessly attractive. Like, it's almost disgusting how attractive like the men and women there are. I already asked, but when are airlines hiring? So I actually get asked this question like quite a bit, so let's just go ahead and address it again in this video. But if you go to flightattendantcareer.com, they will actually do a fabulous job of highlighting which airlines are hiring. If you have a specific airline you're looking for, I would just keep getting on there on a daily to weekly basis and see. I know that most airlines will open once to twice a year for a very short period, and there's kind of no telling. It really just depends on operational need and how many flight attendants they need or don't need as to when they're gonna hire, for how long they're gonna hire, or who they're gonna hire. It's really hard to predict when an airline is hiring, so definitely you have to stay on top of it. If you are looking to work with Southwest though, Southwest is known for being open for 1 day of the year. So if that is a company that you are trying to work with, you really need to stay on top of it. Just a tip for all of you. How many hours a week or a month is typical for a flight attendant to work? About 75 to 85. When you get offered your CJO, is it a firm training date, or can you push it back for a later class? A lot of times when they actually give you your CJO, you are not going to get your training date at that point. If you do and there's some kind of issue with the training date that you have, definitely contact your talent service team and reach out to them and tell them that there is some kind of conflict of interest, and they'll try and work with you to maybe move it. But it's also going to depend on how many flight attendants are hiring, how many training classes are going through. So you might only have a little bit of wiggle room on moving your training date. And so that's why flexibility is key in this job. It's key when you're applying, it's key when you're going through training, and it's key when you're on the line. So there's a little wiggle room usually, but definitely talk to them if you have a conflict. Do you ever deal with loneliness being a flight attendant? I don't really as much anymore, but starting out was tough. I think in your head you have this idea that everybody always wants to do something on all these cool layovers and stuff, which I think regionally that has the upper hand than people on mainline, because I think a lot of regional airlines actually will do stuff like flight crew and the pilots will like go and do stuff or do dinner and stuff like that together, where that's like really far and few in between with mainline that it really almost never happens. I do sometimes get some crews that like to do stuff, which is awesome, but also there's going to be a lot of times where you're going to have a really exciting layover and everybody either has their own plans or they don't want to do something. So there's going to be a lot of times you're by yourself. I sometimes still get lonely because I'm sometimes still like really excited about layovers or new layovers and I want to do something and nobody wants to do anything. But you have to just get really comfortable with just doing stuff on your own. This job is really going to teach you how to learn to be like comfortable in your own space. Give yourself 6 months of an adjustment period, I think, to really push yourself to get out of your comfort zone. Go eat by yourself, go visit places by yourself, go do stuff by yourself, and then it's not going to be nearly as bad. Hi, which is your favorite aircraft and why? Ooh, okay, so I would say I am trained on a lot of different aircrafts. I'm trained on, I think, like 11 aircrafts or something like that. My favorite aircraft that I have not flown yet is the 787, which is the Dreamliner. So I am trained on that one. I've heard wonderfully beautiful, amazing things, and I know that's going to be my favorite aircraft for sure. It's a beautiful wide body with a lot of amenities, but I haven't flown on it. So out of the ones I've flown on, I would say the A330, so the Airbus 330 is probably my favorite. I just prefer wide bodies. There's more room for people, there's more like walk space, there's more service room, so definitely the Airbus 330 out of the ones that I've worked, which is what we take to a lot of our internationals. What is your next travel goal and why? I guess like my next like major travel goal, like I've said in this video, is I would love to have like my own travel TV show or something really cool like that. But for my near travel goal, like something I could actually see in like the immediate future, I would love to do Ireland and Hawaii. Ireland, we fly to Dublin from Charlotte, but I actually have avoided it. I just got it on my schedule and switched it out for Barcelona because it's a place that I really want to go see with my husband. We had originally talked about eloping in Ireland, but because of the immigration process, it was just going to be too much work and too much money. So we didn't do that. But we also talked about honeymooning in Hawaii, and then because of financial reasons and everything going on, we also didn't do that either. So those are two places I would really, really like to see with him. With our dog, it's just a little bit more complicated right now to travel for us because we don't have a lot of family or friends in Charlotte. Do baby pigeons exist? Why wouldn't baby pigeons exist? Is this a trick question? Do baby pigeons not exist? Okay. Can you film a flight attendant carry-on essentials FA packing list? I can definitely like try and do like another packing video. I know a lot of you have requested a makeup packing video, and that's in my list of videos to be coming soon. I do already have a carry-on packing video, which I will link down below for you to check out if you have not seen it. But yeah, I do have a carry-on video. I do have like my personal item, like my flight attendant purse that I do. And I do have a typical cooler bag, like meals that I bring kind of video. So I have all three of those videos of like kind of how I pack some of my bags, and I will go ahead and link those down below for you guys to check out. Where is your dream vacation and why? I have so many. I have so many. Pretty much if I've never been somewhere, I want to go. That's always my mentality. If I've never been, I want to go. All right, so favorite layover. So far, my favorite layover has been Munich, Germany, I would say. Madrid was really good too. I did really enjoy Madrid, but I think Munich has been my favorite one. What are some of your favorite airline liveries? If I pronounced that wrong, I'm so sorry. Crew uniforms. So what are some of your favorite crew uniforms? Love your videos and energy. Thank you so much. My favorite crew uniforms. Ooh, you're gonna get me in trouble on this one. Okay, so I guess my number one favorite actually doesn't really exist anymore, and I would say that it was Delta's red wrap dress. Loved it. I thought it was really figure flattering. Obviously it wraps right here, which is like the most flattering place on almost everyone's body to kind of taper in. So I really thought that was really flattering. It was really bold, really pretty, looked awesome with a red lip and heels. Not a fan of their entire uniform collection, but I do like that. Yeah, I also do think like a lot of the international airlines, their uniforms are really, really sharp and put together. I wouldn't not want to wear a hat, just being honest, but I do think like their hats with their hair up and everything, they always look on point, they look really nice. So there's a lot of international airlines that I think look really sharp. I'm really into like that Jackie O style, so I really do, if you could find like that old Jackie O style in a flight attendant uniform, I'm gonna instantly love it. The rest of this conversation, which I think we're all thinking here, I'm just gonna avoid. All right. How did you and your husband meet? Great question, but I'm not going to share it yet. We actually met in a really, really, really funny story, but I don't want to share it yet because I'm still trying to convince him to do a Q&A with me. I just think it would be so much fun, but my husband is a very private person. He's such a goofball. He's like goofy mixed with like Red Foreman from that 70s show, and that together. And that's my husband. He's a hoot. He's so funny, but he is a very, very, very private person. So I don't know. He's kind of indecisive about doing a YouTube video with me. I don't want to spoil that because I'm still trying to con him into it. All right, so those are the rest of my Instagram questions. I really do want to apologize because I only gave y'all like a 2-hour window to ask me stuff. So I'm really, really sorry for any of you who wanted to ask me some stuff that I didn't get around to. I will definitely be doing another one of these and give y'all some more time to actually ask me questions. But I really wanted to get a video up for you guys. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time with some really, really, really exciting content. So don't forget to subscribe and turn the bell on. Bye.